good Monday morning, August the 24th, 2026.
It's still summer.
It is. It is.
Oh, my God.
You know, it used to be you could see like the 10-day and you could see that little glimmer of hope at the end of that 10-day. And you're like, whoop, whoop.
Nothing. Yeah. Nothing. Well, we're going to still try to stay as cool as we can. Big week this week.
Yes.
Tomorrow, everyone votes. It's the runoff election. Thank goodness.
Which last week and I think today is, I guess it would have been just last week was early. You could early vote.
Right. Early voting started on Thursday, which you could go to, whatever your county election board. But this is like literally go and stand in line and vote. So it's runoff, just FYI. So runoff for all the primary races that were held in June. And so if you got 50% plus one vote, not 51%, 50% plus one vote, then you would have won outright. But there were so many people in all the races that they take the top 2%, and those have to vie for the runoff election, which is tomorrow. Yeah. So governor has a runoff election.
Insurance
commissioner, education, labor commissioner, lots of the legislative seats have runoff elections, which this would be a terrible summer to have to campaign in. That's why I would always hate to be in a runoff because it's so stinking hot and you got to get to August. So
if you wore one of those little, those little umbrella hats that you fit around your head, and would you scare off votes if you walked up to somebody's door?
I don't know what I think if someone walked up to my house and did that.
Kind of creep me out a little bit.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit weird. But saying all that, so then what happens is that tomorrow, when we get all the results in, then we know who will be in the general election. So against either Democrat or Republicans, because there's runoffs on both sides. And then it's just one from one party, one from the other party. And that election is in November. So the ads will not stop.
And they battle it out in the octagon, right?
No.
Does that not happen?
No, it's not how it works. No. It's more commercials, more commercials.
Battle it out in the commercial air. Oh my goodness.
How much money do you think the TV stations make?
Oh my goodness. They are wearing me out. The AI is wearing me out in the negativity.
Well, even on social media. I had, we have friends we go to dinner with on Friday nights, and they said, how do we know? And I said, don't believe any of the ads. Just don't believe all of them. It doesn't matter what side you're on. They're all wrong.
So, I mean, I guess this would be one of those things where you would just encourage them to watch the debates. I mean, it used to be.
Watch the debates. I would get on their websites.
Yeah.
People don't realize how accessible they are. Send them an email.
Yeah.
And just, these are my concerns. How do you feel about that? And it's surprising. Any candidate's very, very accessible.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. I mean, you could watch the debates. Those are good. And most all the offices have had debates. And then if you're in your local, like if it's one of your local legislators, there's a ton of the, Kiwanis Club and, whatever, they have them in to speak at their luncheons and things like that. So you can shake their hands and get to know them. So, those are great questions. So,
yes, I know they could lie just as easy standing up there in front of you, but you can also kind of get a feel of their personality.
Correct.
And you are a better judge of character than you let yourself out to be.
Surprisingly, I don't know any candidate that goes in for the wrong reasons.
Right.
The majority of them that I know, and I know many, they go in for the right reasons. They want to make our state better. They want to make their local county better. They want to be a better, sheriff. They're not going in it to run the system. They're going in it because they want to make a better place for their friends and their neighbors and their families. So it's just not easy because you have to depend on a whole lot of other people. Politics is not fun. So you have to be pretty thick-skinned. Yeah. So kudos. I wish them all the best of luck. And we'll do a follow-up at some point with the elections, and we'll kind of know where we stand. A lot of really important votes. So
a lot of changes going on.
Lots of changes. There's a couple of state questions that are really good. Be sure you can go on your county election board and you can get sample ballots. So be sure and get on there and read those.
Which with that, if you look at the scroller down at the bottom, bigiok.com/voter voice,
my gosh,
that will guide you to everything that you're talking about through your voter, your election board and things like that.
And since it's Monday morning, you have plenty of time.
You do. And I'll just be real honest with you. If you have questions about the ballots or what it really means, pull up a little AI and do some questions. Just stick that.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Find the text, put it in there, and just say, "Tell me explain this to me in layman's terms," which I have to do that numerous times.
I usually say, "Explain it to me like a third grader."
Yes.
And then I do really well. Yes. So that's coming up. We'll talk more about that next week. We'll see how it all ends up. We had a great Monday morning last week because we had a guest speaker and talked on mutual holding companies. We've gotten some really nice feedback from that. It'd be nice to have a guest speaker. He was a pretty good sport because we hadn't had anyone like that. We're going to have a few more of those. So great feedback, super interesting. We'll do an election follow-up next week, and then some other issues that are coming up. I think we have to get through the runoffs first, but last week's good. If you haven't seen that, I would encourage you can go to our website and you have a link to
bigiok.com. Down at the bottom is all of our Monday morning videos. You can pick the one.
Read any of them. Yeah, it's good. This week is going to be fun. Besides voting, so once we get through voting, then we have our past presidents luncheon. So it's all of those that have been the past chairman of our association. We have some that literally are, I think Bob McCowan maybe was a chairman in the 80s. So he comes to every single one of them.
The 1900s.
He was in the 1900s for sure. So we're going to bring them into our building this year, which I think is kind of fun. And we don't usually do that. We usually take them out someplace. But we thought it might be kind of fun to bring them into the building. And then we're getting ready for our 120th anniversary.
Celebrating,
so we're going to get to video a few of them. So which is really cool. So I'm excited to see them. I've served with many of them. So I think it's really cool. So we have a busy week going on just in the buildings. So,
which in regards to the celebration of the 120 years of Big I, a lot of this is going to be showing up in SureCon coming up in May. Yeah. So, a lot of this video stuff and other things will be.
We have to work on it now, don't we?
Yes, we do.
I know.
Yes, we do.
So a couple of education things coming up. On August 25th, there's a free webinar, When Claims Go Big, Social Inflation, Nuclear Verdicts, and the End of Small Losses. That's been a big issue in the elections with many of the candidates because, for one thing, they don't fully understand the nature of insurance. I know it's complicated. I'm not going to get into the depths of that. However, we have to deal with an issue with tort reform that we really want to talk about going forward as we're getting into the elections. But when you look at nuclear verdicts, that's happening in Oklahoma right now, this would be a great webinar to just kind of talk about, understand what drives it, understand what the cost of insurance. It's not just the ice storm from January. It's literally, there's a variety of things that adds into the cost of insurance. I don't even want to call them soft costs because they're not, they're hard costs. So learn practical strategies and identify escalating risk. It's good for agents to know this too, so that when they're meeting with their clients, then they have an understanding of how this works instead of, I paid in all these years and I never got anything out of it. Well,
back in the 1900s.
Back in the 1900s, for sure. Then on August 26th, we have another free webinar, and it's a builder's risk reality check. So coverage gaps, timing traps, and claim disputes. So builder's risk is before you move into your house. And so it gives you information because you do have claims. I had a builder's risk claim one time that someone was building their house. And weirdly, a tornado came through, not a big one, and it didn't hit them directly, but the way the wind shear was, it twisted the entire frame. So they ended up having to tear it all down and then rebuild it. Well, that was a builder's risk claim. So it was off their builder's risk policy. That's not part of your homeowners. So that's why it's really important. So here's the thing that we want everyone to know on these free webinars that they have. They're free. Your boss will love it. They're super interesting. There's some great classes. However, there is a quiz at the end because that's just how we have to meet the statute of education. So it's fun to sit there and just, play solitaire on your phone while you're listening to education. But in reality, you need to pay attention because in order to get the credit, you do have to take a quiz. So we did have some questions about that this week.
Which they're free to membership, but not free to non-members. So it would be well worth your time if you became a member to have all this free.
Yeah, great member benefit. I can't even imagine, I know we do a return on investment. Mm-hmm. That education alone is huge.
Yes.
Let any agency principal call me and we can talk about how we can cut his costs and to make it valuable for a Big I membership. So
you can get the pencil and paper out and show them.
Absolutely. Or if they can do math in their head, I can do that too.
There you go.
Okay. September 16th and 17th, our Young Agent Conference is coming up. So now we're less than a month away. It's not very far. It's at River Spirit Casino in Tulsa, so right on the west edge of Tulsa. So those that say, I don't want to drive through Tulsa, well,
you don't have to.
You don't even have to. And it's a beautiful resort. God, I love it. It's really cool and it's super easy to get to. So people from Tulsa can get in really quick, or if you're in Oklahoma City, it's just a quick trip up Turner Turnpike. And I guess there's always construction on Turner Turnpike, but it still should be pretty easy. So if it's not too late, you can still register. There's some great speakers. Like it sounds like it's going to be really cool. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to bebop up there or not. I hope so. And so, that's what's going on this week. Busy.
BigIOK.com/YA conference.
Yeah.
We'll get you right to all the information. And if I may throw something else in.
Sure.
So we have a little website, BigIOK.com/Y_BigIOK, which is a kind of a testimony type questionnaire that we would love to hear your thoughts about the Institute webinars. And then anything else about Big I Oklahoma that, maybe give us some positive feedback.
Well, I was going to say feedback's really important to us because sometimes we're in our own head. So we're sitting here just working. And sometimes someone has outside perspective that is so helpful to us that we appreciate it. We don't take it lightly. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, because someone said that men work out of boxes. And when I get in my little box,
I get it. I get it. Head down. So, give us some feedback. We love to hear it.
You betcha.
Okay. You stay cool this weekend. I don't know. Maybe at some point fall will get here, but enjoy your week.
You too. Have a good one. Bye-bye.